Hey, what's up? This is Deep Cuts, and I'm Dave. So, I wanted to talk today, real briefly, about patience and children. People comment regularly on how well behaved my children are. And I think part of the reason is we allow them to be children. An example of that would be over the past couple of weeks, my 2-year-old has been getting his 2-year-old molars. So he's been more fussy than normal. He's kind of a moody kid, anyways. But yesterday morning, he decided that he was just going to lay on the ground and roll around and cry and basically just remain inconsolable for about 20-25 minutes. While that can easily get people frustrated, it's important to remember that 2-year-olds really haven't been here that long. If you don't reflect patience to them, they're likely not going to pick up patience at all later on. If you react to their emotional state with emotions, it's probably not going to fare too well for anybody involved, you or the kid. It's all right to observe them from a distance. If they come up to you, totally fine, try to console them. Again, at 2, they're going through a lot of developmental changes. They're 2 years old, so they haven't been here that long, but they are starting to develop a sense of self. They're developing possession, so they're starting to recognize that things belong to them and they have control over those things. Giving them a little bit of control and allowing them to work through whatever it is that they're working through is going to help them explore themselves. If you try to stop, especially with an emotional reaction, you try to stop these outbursts, you're going to create a suppressive state for that kid, and it could end up being detrimental to them later on. It's perfectly normal for people to get frustrated. I'm not saying you shouldn't get frustrated. I'm not saying you're not allowed to get frustrated. You're more than able to get frustrated, especially with a 2-year-old. They don't communicate very well. Oftentimes they're crying or whining over seemingly nothing. It might be nothing to you, but to them it could be something major. I'm by no stretch of the word a passive parent. I'm also not a helicopter parent. But having 2 older kids who are pretty well adjusted emotionally, I definitely do have a very good idea on what it takes to allow these emotions to just kind of run their course. With a 2-year-old, it's really important to remember that they're just 2. A year prior, they were barely able to start eating and drinking. In some cases, some kids don't start actually eating solid food until closer to 2. Each kid has their own developmental markers. Each kid's going to go through developmental stages a little bit differently than another kid. So this is not a one-size-fits-all. But if you start super early with a kid and you allow them the room and the ability to navigate these emotions that they're having, since they're all brand new, it will at some point start to slow, and or they will come to you for comfort or reassurance or safety or whatever it is. It's important to allow them to work through those things, because you definitely don't want a kid growing up who relies on other people to make them feel better. So there definitely needs to be some sense of self-soothing within reason. If the kid is breaking things, obviously you don't want them to hurt themselves or anyone else or items. So stepping in and just removing said items definitely goes a long way in those circumstances. The kid may not be happy with it at first, but it's totally fine for them to be upset with that. Just remember that as an adult, if you were acting like that, No one's going to scream at you. No one's going to throw things at you. No one's going to cuss you out. If anything, people are just going to kind of look at you. That's similar to the way that you kind of want to approach 2-year-old fits. They can be kind of frustrating at times, and they can be very emotional, and they can be just chaotic. Allow them the ability to be that way. It's totally fine. Just keep in mind you were 2 at one point in time. A good way to keep these things in check is imagine when you were a little kid, what do you think you would respond to at their age better? Someone yelling at you because you're frustrated and irritated or not feeling well or whatever the case may be? Or would you respond better if you knew someone was there if you needed the assistance? 9 times out of 10 people are going to choose the latter. I wanted to keep this short because it was something I observed yesterday morning. If you have any experiences in something like this, let me know what your outcomes were. If you have any ideas on things you want me to cover from a parental standpoint, if there's things that maybe you're unsure about, maybe you're a new dad or a new parent and you don't have solid role models to ask, feel free to comment below and I'll do my best to make a video covering those topics. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next video. See you.